Hello and welcome to Group 15 Social Experiment, where we test a phenomenon known as the bystander effect. This video will just be footage of the experiment and my commentary on it, giving you guys the gist of what's going on, what's happening, what's popping, and I think you guys will be actually very surprised by the results we got from this. So here we are at Westminster Mall, as we all should know is quite populated on a daily basis, and our actor here on the floor is Brian Lore. We chose Brian Lore because, not to be too offensive, has the most poor appearance. Thus, we gave him my large jacket and my very well torn Vans shoes. And as you can see, there's just people passing by, giving glances, not giving too much worry. And it's just really surprising how everyone's just passing by, not caring about this, little boy, cold on the streets, laying there on a Sunday afternoon. A notable instance we found is that lady who just passes by with a child in her hands, probably back on her way to her car. Our group found this quite remarkable because since she has a child, actually we would think she would try to at least help, knowing or at least observing that Brian is just a teenage boy, homeless on the floor, cold. So we just found this baffling how she did not react quite as we hoped to imagine for her to react, to at least ask if he's okay, because having a child, you should know how nourished a child should be, and for her to see him homeless like that, it was quite heartbreaking. A few minutes later, probably around 7, of Brian on the floor, we decided to end this portion of the experiment, and here we are just interviewing Brian on how he felt. Told us that he felt kind of like, what the heck, why didn't anyone help me? Because you expect people to help, but it just doesn't end the way you want it to be. So now off to Lenny's portion of the experiment, where now in his semi-formal clothes, he will be laying on the floor just as Brian did. In the end, we were actually very disappointed in the results we got from this. As Lenny's wearing his semi-formal clothes, we'd expect people to tend to, or at least a few more people to help Lenny out, It's like a little innocent boy laying out there cold on the floor. You'd expect people to, at least tap him on the shoulder, ask if he's okay. But circumstances, nobody did that, except for at least one person in the end. And now cut to me, walking up to Lenny, checking if he's okay. However, acting as if I'm a bystander. And at this moment, I actually get pretty mad at Lenny, because we told him to make at least some motions. Because some people actually thought he was just sleeping, as we were told from the context of people's conversations nearby. So then here's me just explaining to him what to do, and we try to fix things. About 2 minutes later, I decide to walk up close to Lenny again, completely avoiding him. And from a nearby conversation from a few Hispanics, I hear that they think she's just trying to take a rest. So I decide to lecture Lenny again, because apparently Lenny kind of sucks at acting as a homeless man. So now this time, we told Lenny to start rubbing his shoulders, make some motions, scrunch up his face in distress, and as a result, we actually got a lot more reactions, a lot more glances. However, people still did not decide to help him in the end. And it was at this moment that the 3 of us observers who were watching Lenny got really excited. As you can see on the right side of the screen, the couple in the blue and the red were looking back at Lenny for actually a very long time. And we were so hoping, so hoping they would come back and help Lenny out. But after a few more seconds, they decided to continue the day on, ignoring the fact that Lenny's just there on the floor, rubbing his shoulders. we were very disappointed. So it's actually very disappointing. And so then a few minutes later passed, and we decided to end this portion of the experiment. But right there and then there, right as we got up from our positions, that guy in the light blue shirt decided to ask Lenny if he was doing okay. We found this out after Lenny abruptly removes himself from his homeless position, even though we told him not to do any sort until we tell him so. But I guess it was good. It was for a good reason, and we at least got one person to help out. And now on to the second phase of the experiment. Our group calls this the stare phase, because we play each actor for each section to pretend to be dead, or at least passed out at the bottom of the stairs. From this experiment or this phase, we expected a lot more people to react or to interact with the actors, because it involves the risk of health issues or injuries. A few minutes later, after a few people passed by, a few cars passed by, these two lovely females, blatantly walks up the stairs, completely ignoring Brian at the bottom of the stairs. At this point, I decided to help Brian, making a scene where I'm trying to do a good act of a Samaritan, and I don't think the audio picks it up, but after I help Brian up, the two females look back down the stairs and ask if he's okay. I was actually very excited with this result, because it proves that the bystander effects is actually deems true. For after I help, other bystanders help. Though in the end, it's still quite disappointing of society. And now on to Lenny's portion of phase 2, where he's now in his semi-formal clothes, laying on the floor, or I should say at the bottom of the staircase. Very odd results actually came from this. As you can see, that guy in the black hoodie who just walked down the stairs, before that he was actually taking pictures of Lenny, because Lenny told us that he heard the picture sound coming from his iPhone. We have absolutely no clue of why he would be taking pictures of Lenny on the floor like that. However, those concerns can stay with that man himself. But we just found it very, very weird and odd, and we don't want to question why he did it. And finally, here are our last subjects, who I believe were target workers. I don't know what they were, but they glanced at Lenny. They very hard glanced at Lenny, thinking of what to do with Lenny. And at this point, I decided to step in and do my acting part, like I did for Brian. When I tried making a scene, they were already gone. But the staircase is pretty long. I assumed they rushed up the stairs as I came by, which then I was very disappointed, because that's just them ignoring the situation as a whole, trying to ignore uncomfortable situations, don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, that's the end of this experiment. We found results, some results disappointing, some results very enlightening. But yeah, that was the bystander effect.